my colleague and good friend and one of our former pastors, Eddie Rester, and I do a podcast, and we talk to people all over the country. This week we talked to a guy named Steve Tresiak, who is an intensive care physician and a chief medical officer at a hospital in New Jersey. And he studies the science of compassion. One objection that he often hears among physicians is, of course, compassion is important in healthcare, but I don't have enough time. I have to move from patient to patient to patient. I don't have enough time to really get to know my patients and offer them the level of compassion that I desire. And so Steve and his research team decided to ask the question, how much time does compassion actually take? And they did a study of physicians who added a brief expression of compassion to their conversations with cancer patients in the cancer journey. I know this is difficult. We're going to go through this together. I'm going to be with you every step of the way. At the end of the study, what they found was significant, that there was a physiological impact to these expressions of compassion in patients, lowering and reducing their anxiety as a part of their care. How much additional time did it take? They found that it only took 40 seconds. 40 seconds of time to look somebody in the eye. 40 seconds of time to say, I know this is hard. I'm with you. We're going to do this together. You are not alone. That's all it took. Who among us, not those of us just who work in healthcare, who among us doesn't feel sometimes like I don't have enough time to offer love to other people? Anybody? I got too much to do. You got too much to do. You got to move from one thing to another. What would it look like for us to take an additional 40 seconds in our interactions with one another this week to offer compassion? You don't understand how much power and impact can be in a simple act of compassion. So Steve, my conversation partner this week, this intensive care physician, he's still working in the ICU as he studies the science of compassion. And he told us a story that happened a couple years ago. He was there with a man who was near death, and he called his sister in for the hard conversation. He saw where this was going, and he needed to tell her that he didn't think that her brother was going to make it. He was critically ill. And she responded by saying in the conversation, "You don't remember me, do you?" And he said, "I do not. I don't remember you." She went on to tell him that 7 years earlier, her mother had died in the ICU just across the hallway. Tresiak had been her doctor, and 7 years earlier, she still remembered the care that Steve and his team had given her. She remembered how specifically the nurses had cared for her mother and had comforted her and had reminded them that they were not alone. And even 7 years later, she still remembered the compassion that they had offered her. And this is what she said that made such an impact. She said this. She said, "I still remember the love the nurses gave me. I still grieve my mom, but that compassion that was given to me, it still makes me feel better even now." Imagine that. Imagine you saying something to a person in 40 seconds that 7 years later was still making them feel better. It's the power of the act of compassion. It's making the invisible love of God visible to other people. It's allowing yourself to live from a secure place in God's love and devoting yourself to loving other people into life. And it's asking the question on a daily basis, what tangible sign of love can I offer to you today?